24, Luke Malone. Number 18, Harrison Crook. And number 31, Emerson Gosling. They're coached by Pete McGuinness. Good luck to all teams.
Good evening and welcome to Darling Street Oval for round 3 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. This evening we've got Hamilton Olympic, the home side, up against Valentine Phoenix. Two sides which had differing fortunes last weekend. Hamilton Olympic with a 1-0 victory over Adamstown away from home. Valentine, they went down 2-1 to the Jets Youth at home at the CB complex. So it'll be the Phoenix in their orange from left to right of screen in the opening half, and it's Joel Wood who gets us underway. Both these two sides with much different lineups than we saw last year. Hamilton had a turnover of 7 players, and the Phoenix had a turnover of 5, which has now been reduced to 4, Damien Smith, because incredibly, Matt Paul, he's returned.
Yes, that's great news for the local NPL, and especially for Valentine. He's been away training with his triathlons, but he's decided to pull on the boots again, and this is his first game back. Still going to train, do the triathlon training, but however he's going to commit to football as well. So great news for Darren Sills, especially considering they've got a few injuries today. So
Sean Pratt looking for an early back heel. Reese Pettit on the ball, and he's shoulder to ground, shoulder to shoulder between himself and Sean Pratt, Valentine's youngest ever skipper. He was announced as skipper at just 19 years of age. He'll let that one run over the byline. It's the throw from Shinji Shozu, the Japanese import. Back to Tyler Warren for Olympic. Kyle Hodges now on the ball, who this afternoon will equal Barry Park's record for most amount of matches played by an outfield player for Hamilton Olympic without scoring. It's turned over. Maybe an early chance here for Valentine, and Matt Paul. And Kyle Hodges is there to thwart him in the box, and Olympic will win the free kick.
So, Bart, if he scores today, does he beat the record?
If he scores today, Barry Park holds on to the 121 match record. So this is Kyle Hodges' 121st match for Olympic, as I look to take that one a little too quickly for referee this afternoon, Glenn Peterkin's liking. So if he scores the salvo, Barry Park stays on his own. If he doesn't, he will equal Park's record as Kyle Hodges. But a big game for both centre-backs in Reese Pettit and Kyle Hodges, both captains of their respective sides.
Yeah, and it's been an indifferent start to the season, probably for both sides. Valentine's only played the one game and lost to the Jets last week. But Olympic lost their first home game to Charlestown, so they'll want to make amends today. And I expect Olympic to do well, hold a lot of possession, but they just need to be careful with Valentine's transition. If they transition quick, that could cause a few problems for Hamilton. But for me, I think Hamilton should get up today.
Well, Smudge, it's been an uncharacteristically lean run for Hamilton Olympic. They've actually lost their last 3 home matches here at Darling Street, dating back to last season. Reese Pettit, dispossessed by Sean Pratt, and now Hayden Gardner. Has to roll it infield towards Luke Willard, who's playing in a different role this evening up in the front third for the Phoenix.
So
Pettit.
Sorry, it's also good to see Jake McGuinness back. So his father having faith in him and being sent off last home game, so straight back into the starting side after being suspended for a week. He's a very good young player, Jake McGuinness. And
he received a couple of yellow cards in the opening round against Charlestown. That's a lovely turn from Jared Sutherland. Tries to thread it through for Sean Pratt, and then back to Burtos. Neat 1-2. And Matt Paul is back to clear it up over the sideline. Cody Lucas looks for the short-statured Sutherland. He's in his 3rd match for Hamilton Olympic, having played in both their opening fixtures. There's 9 Kuru and McGuinness. It's a strong clash. McGuinness threads it wide to Cody Lucas. Smudge, just tell me tactically, How are these two sides lining up?
Well, they're both for me at the moment, they look like they're both playing a 4-2-3-1, which is a typical 4-3-3 setup. So it's going to be a bit of a cat and mouse initially until sort of one team gets on top. You'll find Olympic will play a lot of possession-based football and sort of a bit of a slow build-up, but where Valentine will probably play more on the counter, I can imagine.
Here is Jake McGuinness. Just spies an opening and has a hit, Jake McGuinness. And he hasn't missed by much. Just spotted the opening, didn't he? There's no pressure on him, and the Phoenix have got to be wary of that.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with Zach Sneddon being out of their side in the back line without putting pressure on the midfield. But just on Easter Friday, Bart, it's absolutely glorious Friday afternoon, isn't it?
As it was last year when Broadmeadow played Lambton, we did the game that afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon, and it is similar conditions this afternoon, maybe a little warmer. Back goes Josh Murray. Now Riley Russell. Playing at left back this evening for the Phoenix. They've had a disastrous run with injuries over the opening couple of rounds. They played their first match of the season last week, as I mentioned, against the Jets Youth, where they went down. But Zach Sneddon injured his hamstring in the opening 20 minutes. This one turned over. Played wide to Scott Pettit, who's looking for his first goal in Olympic colours, and he finds the side netting as well. But a couple of early chances for Hamilton Olympic, Smudge. Yeah,
they did well there, and they transitioned quite quick in attack. And you got pace in Burdos and Pettit out wide, so Valentine need to be careful. Once the ball breaks down, they need to get numbers behind the ball, otherwise they could get caught out. Just talking to Darren Sills prior to the game, we're talking about Hamilton Olympic, and you know, some people think they may struggle this year, some people think they might be the surprise packer, but Darren Sills reckons they're going to be the dark horse to do very well this year because they've got experience plus youthful players.
Here is Joel Wood. Kyle Hodges, that's a strong tackle by the centre back. And here is Sutherland dispossessing Pettit. He's got very sharp footwork, threads it wide. Reese Cooper goes with the outside of his boot, and Valentine are living dangerously at the moment.
This is my first look at Jared Sutherland. He's very tidy on the ball, isn't he? He's got nice silky skills, nice tight skills as well, and he's able to bring players in. But just going back on Hamilton, me personally, I think Hamilton's going to be a dark horse. They're going to be a real threat.
Here's Sutherland now to Scott Pettit, one of those experienced players you talk about. But what is it early on that is causing Valentine so many issues, Smudge?
In this game?
Yes.
I don't know. I think obviously Olympic's got more possession at the moment. I think Valentine's back for probably a little bit deep, so therefore the midfield's quite open, and there's space for Hamilton to play through the centre at the moment. So, but they're a well-structured, organised side. Any side that Pete McGuinness coaches is well organised, well-structured. They know when to press, when not to press, and they know how to compact this field when they haven't got the ball. Pete, like myself, loves width, and you look at their fullbacks, nice and wide, open in the space.
It's what you need on a small pitch like Darling Street as well. McGuinness almost got himself into a bit of a pickle because Luke Willard was pushing up on him. McGuinness just knocks that one wide towards Reese Pappas. Plenty of Mariners NPL experience in this Hamilton Olympic lineup. This one chipped forward looking for another former Mariner in Sean Pratt. The closest to playing in the A-League for them was Reese Pappas. Just missed out on a bench spot a couple of times last season. Here's Matt Paul now. They're headed towards Joel Wood, who returns to the NPL Northern New South Wales after being at Byron Bay last year. Aidan Gardner, neat ball. Matt Paul with some space. Gee, that opened up nicely for Matt Paul, and Olympic are lucky.
Yeah, it's great to see Joel Wood back at the local NPL. Very good player. He's been at numerous clubs. Has been, nearly leading goal scorer at most clubs.
And now this just hit a patch of grass and skidded away from Willard, who cuts it across the face. And Tyler Warren gets his first touch of the evening.
I think back in 2012, Joel Wood got Golden Boot of the Northern South Wales Federation with about 17 goals. I know he just pipped Peter Haynes. So he's a great acquisition for Valentine.
He moved up north for work last year. And Joel Wood, Reese Cooper.
Oh, great touch.
Burns onto the ball. Scored 5 times last year, Cooper, and that was in an injury interrupted season. Here's Scott Pettit pulling one in. He too had a frustrating campaign last year. Just the 4 goals for him. He was in superb form at the back of the season. He scored 4 times in his last 5 games. Here's Cooper back to McGuinness.
And again, Valentine's just standing off Hamilton a little bit too much for my liking. They're getting a bit more space in midfield.
Just giving them too much time, aren't they, at the moment? Here is Nyan Kuru. So Adamstown last year. Reds it wide to Joel Wood across the face, and the clearance from Cody Lucas. It did the job in the end. It wasn't convincing. Will be a corner for Valentine Phoenix.
And you look at Hamilton, Bart, or Ben, there's a lot of experience in youthful players. But then you look at the reserves grade side, or the under-20 side today. They had Simon Mooney, Stuart Michalek, Jacob Bailey, all playing. So they've got a lot of experience to come back into this first grade squad.
And Simon Mooney on the bench for this match, so expect to see him later on. Here is Nyan Kuru, just unable to get the height he would have liked. It faded towards the near post. Sean Pratt just hoofs it away. Only as far as Riley Russell. Shinji Shozu.
It's well played.
We'll run it down just inside the line. And Hayden Gardner is rushing towards the back post, but Cody Lucas there again. And Valentine just getting a toehold in this game, Smudge, after being really dominated early on. Yeah,
definitely. And the thing is, I think obviously they're going to soak up the early pressure, which that's what they've done. But McGuinness said to me, against Charlestown, they struggled, Hamilton struggled, when they're in attack, to transition back into defence. They're too slow. And that's what's just happened a few times here. They need to be a bit better in transition from attack to defence.
There is Paul curling it in. Tyler Warren with a punch away. That was homing in on that near post. It's Christian Kershaw, the American import, falls for Nyan Kuru. We know he can strike them. Nyan Kuru. Warren with a great save. It falls for Joel Wood, who smacks it home. It's taken him 2 matches, Joel Wood, and he's back on the score sheet in the NPL for the Valentine Phoenix. And they get a surprising early goal, Smudge.
Yeah, I think Peter McGuinness will be a bit disappointed. No one shut down Nyan Kuru. They sort of left him a little bit of space, able to get the shot away. It deflected back for Joel Wood, who finished superbly, didn't he? Top corner. The top of the net, wasn't it? Great finish.
And the lax defence from Olympic, even to get across. I know you were talking about the lack of anticipation of Nyan Kuru's ability, but even Joel Wood, there was no one across quickly to put him under pressure. He basically just stepped past a couple and curled it into the top corner, as you said. Yeah,
I don't think Peter McGuinness would like to see that replay. There was no pressure on the ball. That's a great turn.
And here's Burtos. All of a sudden, Olympic looking for a swift reply. Valentine, they have not beaten Hamilton Olympic here at Darling Street since 2009. Here is Jacob McGuinness. Yeah, into the lead here.
And again, Valentine just slightly not putting too much pressure on the ball for Hamilton, allowing them a bit more space in midfield. Just need to be a little bit careful. They are sitting right back on the 18-yard box, so it's going to be hard to get through that defensive 4-man block. However, I think they need more pressure on midfield, otherwise Hamilton's going to create a lot of 2v1s.
Burtos flicks it over the top to Sutherland. Now a back heel to Cody Lucas. Now Cooper. Spied a little opening through the middle of the park.
I know it's early days, but I like to see Cooper play a little bit forward more. He's sort of playing a number 6, number 8 role. I like to see him in that more attacking role because he knows how to. He can just glide past players, but he also knows how to bring players in.
They really missed him last year when he injured his knee in round 1 in the defeat to Lambton, and he missed most of the opening half of the season. He's looking to make up for lost time this campaign.
And I also don't mind Reece Cooper in one of those high right and high left positions because he gets in that one-on-one situation where he can just breeze past players. He's a very good player.
Bertos back to that man Cooper. As the ball hasn't crossed the line, it's an offside against Leo Bertos. Just over 10 minutes gone here at Darling Street Oval in round 3 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. Hamilton Olympic, the home side, up against Valentine Phoenix. And after dominating the opening part of the match, Hamilton find themselves behind by a goal. That's probably fair, Smudge. That's a fair assessment, you'd say?
Oh, totally, yeah. So, still a long way to go, Bart, and I think Hamilton will slowly crawl their way back into this game. Just need a bit more width here.
Here's Bertos across the face, and Sean Pratt just didn't have quite have the energy there, Smudge. I felt as Cooper. He has the turn and the curl! And Scott Carter, I think he got an outstretched hand on that, and had he not, probably would have curled inside that far post.
What a great turn by Reece Cooper. And again, Valentine's midfield is not putting pressure on the ball, allowing Reece Cooper to strike on goal. So
Scott Pettit curling it in, straight onto the head of Aidan Gardner. Tom Davies. Now McGuinness.
And again, Valentine's back four sitting very, very deep.
Cody Lucas across the face. Russell skews the clearance away. McGuinness absolutely furious with his side as they give the ball away again. Nine Kuru's ball. Now it's Darren Sills' chance to be frustrated. Cody Lucas pushes forward. Neat ball to Sean Pratt, who was just offside and looked it. Pete McGuinness telling his side that they're too safe at the moment. Would you agree, Smudge?
I totally agree. They're sort of playing that possession football, which is just simple passes. What they need to do, they need more rotation in midfield, a little bit more width, and try and slide that ball through for a runner going forward. Just change up their variety.
And are they too safe because they've dominated the first part of the game? They're thinking, how are we behind? And now all of a sudden they've just gone into their shell a touch after coming out all guns blazing. Here's Christian Kershaw deflecting that one off Peterkin in the end there.
I think also because Valentine's sitting off and like defending.
It's a poor turnover from Riley Russell, and Sean Pratt is able to curl it with the outside of his boot to Pettit. Bertos is in the middle, as is Sean Pratt, and it will deflect over for a corner, Smudge.
Yeah, sometimes Valentine, they're sitting really deep on the 18-yard box, and Hamilton's just playing with the ball at the back, not going anywhere, sort of just going sideways. Pete probably wants a bit more forward passes and a bit more rotation to open up the space, and that's why he means we're playing too safe. Take a few more risks.
Strong again from the corner. Valentine really eating those corners up for breakfast currently, Smudge. They haven't been great from Scott Pettit from that far side early on. So now Joel Wood, the goal scorer for Valentine. And here is Shozu turning it over. Will it come back to bite the Phoenix on this occasion? They've given over a lot of possession inside their own defensive half. Sutherland's pass now lets him down.
That was so well read by Shinji. He sort of just stuck in so the ball couldn't get through.
Here's Joel Wood up and over the top for Aidan Gardner. There's no doubt Smudge Hamilton, they've been rattled by this, by conceding after really dominating.
And again, Valentine tried to play a quick transition, get the ball forward, and Hamilton had 5 players still up in the forward line. They need to be very careful. They need to transition from attack to defence a lot quicker. Otherwise, Valentine could open them up again. And that's what McGuinness was disappointed in the Charlestown game.
Now Jake McGuinness gives the ball away. Here's Aidan Gardner trying to resurrect his career at Valentine. Looped over the top, and back goes Joel Wood. He had a frustrating spell at Edgeworth last year where he played very rarely after a breakout 2016 campaign. Aidan Gardner, Smudge. What do you feel he's got to do this year just to get himself back into form?
Yeah, and also just you need to play games, don't you? I know, as you know, Damien Zane loves to rotate play, especially the younger boys coming through and the midfield players rather than the spine.
Here's Pettit just building up here for Hamilton Olympic. Tom Davies chipping it in towards Sean Pratt. It may fall for Sutherland. He goes low. It took a deflection off Shozu, and Scott Carter did well in the end.
Yeah, I think Aiden Gardner just needs to get minutes in his legs and get back to that rhythm as well. So I think it's a great move coming out to Valentine.
Here's Matt Paul, who was meant to be leaving Valentine in the pre-season and going to do some more triathlons, which is what he loves. But he's back at the Phoenix again. This one chipped over the top by Pettit, and Joel Wood is in, and he's got a double, Joel Wood. He's playing party pooper at Darling Street tonight.
A second goal for Valentine.
And so you see there, Hamilton pushed up very high, playing a very high line, and they were quite spread as well. Joel Wood peeled off the defender, Reece Pappas, allowed some space, great ball through, unsure who played the ball through, it gave him one-on-one with Tyler Warren, and what a finish, just chipped over. That was well played, but it was a smart move by Joel Wood, how he peeled away from his defender, and the four defenders were split. Probably Tommy Davies, the right fullback, probably could have tucked in a little bit just to squeeze the space.
And while he may not have the same speed as their number 9 from last year, Jalen Brown, he's equal in finishing ability. It may be even better, Joel Wood. He is a superb finisher, and I think we are seeing the beginning of something special from him this year, scoring twice already this evening.
You mentioned speed. Joel Wood's one of the quickest players in the competition, or was.
But he's not going to be as quick as Jalen Brown, because he was the out-and-out quickest in the NPL last year, Smudge.
Joel Wood's quick, I tell you. And again, you watch this transition, nice and quick.
I'm going to back Jalen in a foot race. Here is Shinji Shozu. Aiden Gardner. Back to Matt Paul, curling it across the face.
You know what, they're playing it smart, Valentine. You must give Darren Sills a lot of credit here. They're soaking up the pressure, they're playing deep, then transitioning nice and quick, which is sort of causing Hamilton a lot of trouble.
And I think we're seeing it across the globe in football at the moment. Counter-attacking sides are winning matches. We know Manchester City, it's what they love to do. Sides that play with possession just aren't quite having the same success they had 5-6 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Except
Barcelona,
except for your Barcelonas. But it's all about effective possession. You play possession in the back line, that's fine. That's what Hamilton's been doing a little bit. But if you don't mind having possession in the front third.
They've really been rocked in the opening half, the Phoenix. Here's Riley Russell. Nyan Kuru now. Nyan Kuru absolutely burns Tom Davies and then curls it across the face, and Cody Lucas has to put it over for another corner. They are all over Olympic like a rash at the moment, Valentine.
And again, Olympics back four are so split and so spread. To me, there's holes everywhere there. I'd like to see them play a lot closer and then push, then go towards the direction of the ball rather than playing spread. I think Reece Coopers and Jake McGuinness just needs to play off them a little bit. They seem to be a bit, I don't know, it's a bit disjointed just at the moment. Started off well, but a little bit disjointed at the moment.
Here's Matt Paul. Looks too deep, but Joel Wood was waiting at the back post.
But just going back to Darren Sills, I think the way he's got it set up, they're playing nice and deep and transitioning quick, and it's causing Hamilton problems. And that's what Pete McGuinness said. That's why he was disappointed with the Charlestown. His transition from going on attack to defence was poor.
He's the perfect striker, isn't he, for the Darren Sills style of play. Joel Wood, isn't he? Nice and tall, as you mentioned. He's quick as well.
Anyone faster than Jalen Brown is.
Here's Leo Bertos. Yeah, you're funny. Here's Pettit across the face. And
Great
now
team.
Bertos. He's silky, isn't he? Former New Zealand international. Coming up to 8 years since he represented the All Whites at that World Cup in 2010.
Yeah, 2 years ago he played really well for Hamilton, playing in the 6 and the 9. Just sitting in, not doing too much work, just getting the ball and playing.
Joel Wood, Nyan Kuru. And now Cody Lucas. Thought he may have left that a bit short, but no one running through for the Phoenix.
And again, you see 5 of Hamilton players up high wide when Hamilton had the ball. If they transition quick and keep the ball, they could cause Olympic more trouble.
So if you've just joined us, it's NPL Northern New South Wales, round number 3. Hamilton Olympic coming into this match after a 1-0 win over Adamstown. It wasn't convincing. They got the job done last Saturday night. And Valentine, they went down to the Jets Academy 2-1 at home. And after dominating the first 10, where they had about 3 or 4 chances, Hamilton, and good chances at that, they find themselves behind by 2-0 thanks to that man Joel Wood in the number 9 for Valentine.
And it was virtually Valentine's first chance. They scored, and that turned the whole complexion of the game.
And now it's been Valentine since then. Christian Kershaw from Marshall University in the US. Another US import is Leo Burtos. Well, that's just good body positioning. That's just good body positioning from Riley Russell there to get in front of Leo Burtos and force the foul.
And what Riley did, he read Burtos straight away. He knew Burtos was going to go on his left-hand side, and he just sort of blocked him. Did it perfectly. Well defended, wasn't it?
And for a small man, that's what you have to do. Did a superb job there. So it's Matt Paul, and he'll be looking for Joel Wood, who currently Cody Lucas is just keeping an eye on, but Shozu is there, and Shinji Shozu. That would have been superb if he opened his account with a looping header. It was just a little too heavy. And if they go up 3-0 there, Smudge, they're in the clear and they're gone.
Well, I wouldn't say gone because there's still a long way to go. And
how many sides come back from 3-0 down? It wouldn't be many. Be almost game, set, match, 3-0.
Yeah, but not totally game just yet. But just on that was a free header inside the 18-yard box, probably penalty box for Shinji. That was poor marking. Pete McGuinness will be absolutely furious.
Well, the technical areas here at Darling Street are about half a metre by about 3 metres along, and Pete McGuinness is, well, he's doing his best to stalk the sideline. Here is Sutherland. Is there a route back into the match here for Olympic? It falls for Scott Pettit, who couldn't keep the shot down. Just snatched at it a little bit, Smudge.
Yeah, he just snatched it, but there was a bit of pressure on the ball, which is good. That's what you need, and that's what Hamilton aren't doing as much, especially around the box area, and that's how Joel Wood got his first goal. And again, Hamilton playing a very high line here.
And it caught them out for the second goal. Pettit, Sean Pratt just tries to flick it on. Win the ball back, but Nine Kuru, gee, here's a star, Aaron Nine Kuru. Was Adamstown, I mentioned last year, but came through the Jets youth. He played for the Jets youth in their youth league campaign last season.
And just on Nine Kuru's ball, then, if that got through to Joel Wood, he was away 1-on-1 with a half a field to go. That would have been very dangerous, but Cole Hodges did brilliantly to cut it out.
I'd love to know, Smudge, who is quicker, Aaron Nine Kuru or Joel Wood, because
I think they're both quicker than Jalen Brown.
Here's Jake McGuinness.
And he's very quick.
On the turn. Now across to Tom Davies. So played 73 matches for Olympic without scoring, Tom Davies, which is pretty sure 3rd or 4th on the list of most goals for Hamilton without a most games for Hamilton without a goal. As we see, Joel Wood just caught offside, but I think they're going to play on as he didn't get involved in the play. Reece Pappas. Pete McGuinness has had big raps on Reece Pappas in the off-season. He's been doing a lot of work on his fitness, and
just my concern here when Hamilton are playing at the back, their fullbacks are really spread. If they lose the ball and Valentine do a quick transition, Joel Wood, he's away 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. They need to be very careful. But they've done well there. They've got out there. But a few times it hasn't been as easy to get out.
Would you class that in the same scale as walking on a tight rope? Walking on a tight rope, Smudge, as this one threaded through for Joel Wood again. Here's what you were talking about, and here's the run from Willard. Wood may take it on himself, and gee whiz, if he had a little bit more. I don't think he realised how much time he had there, Joel Wood.
And if they released Joel Wood a little bit earlier, he was away. Hamilton need to be careful. They're playing a whole lot, and it's very spread. They need to be more compact. Actually, the whole teams need to be more compact in defence because the high blokes are just staying high. They need to just sit back in a little bit.
There's McGuinness. Became just the second Olympic player to be sent off on debut. Jake McGuinness a couple of weeks ago.
Who was the first, Bart?
Stacey.
Oh, yeah.
Christolides.
Yeah. Was
right?
a very good player, yep. Stacey was a very good player. I think he tried with the Jets or United back in the day.
Jared Sutherland now spies an opening. Decides against taking the shot and turns it over. Tom Davies sees there's no route forward, so he has to go back to Pappas. And Valentine defending pretty tightly and comfortably at the moment. Olympic finding it difficult to break them down. And they open up down the right. Bertos now to Pettit. Will cut it back inside the byline. There's no one in the middle, but Shozu's header almost gave Olympic a chance.
Better for Olympic. A few 1-2s in and out. Got down the byline and across. That's a lot better. That's more effective possession rather than just a safe possession. What McGuinness was yelling out. Don't be safe. Use the ball efficiently.
There's Cody Lucas.
They're very deep again, Valentine, aren't they, Bart?
Kyle Hodges, they are. Just sitting there. Sitting inside that defensive third. Almost 11 players behind the ball. It's 10 now. With a 2-0 advantage, they can afford to do so. There's Bertos. Do you feel Olympic are missing their leading scorer this year, Jed Hornery? Scored twice in the opening 2 games. Reece Cooper scored in their first game in their defeat to Charlestown. Yeah, Hornery actually, when he does play, he's injured this evening, but if he does play his 3rd match later on this season, he's trying to break a record of scoring in Olympics' first 3 matches. Only Scott Smith holds that. As Bertos threads it wide for Pettit across the face, and Josh Murray is there. Here's the back heel, Scott Pettit. They're putting their body on the line. Well, they're the Phoenix, shoulder to shoulder, and Sean Pratt has given away the free kick. And to be honest, thought that was fair. Smudge, and your reaction tells me the same story.
Yeah, from where we are here, looked fair, looked like shoulder to shoulder, and well used to the body by Pratt. He might have shoulder barged him slightly behind him, so I'm not quite sure. But Peterkin was right on the mark there. So, and congratulations to both the Peterkin boys. They've just had baby boys just recently. Or actually,
their wives had.
Their wives, sorry, yeah. Actually, Glenn had a baby girl and Brad had a baby boy. So that's Glenn's second bub. He's got a boy and a girl.
Scott Pettit now driving forward. Bertos making the run. He swerves away from Matt Paul and the pass is overhit. A polish just disappearing from Olympic as the half goes on. And as the sun fades at Darling Street, 2-0, the Phoenix up.
But that's better. They're trying to get the one-on-one situations, get some runners off the ball. They need it. Yeah, Olympic just need a little bit of variety. I think the speed of the ball's a bit too slow. When you've got possession, you need the ball keeper moving nice and quick.
So breaks for Joel Wood again. Threads it wide for Gardner. Luke Willard has no one on him currently, and Hayden Gardner was betwixt and between there. Not quite sure what he was doing. Gee, Reece Pettit did well there because Sutherland was going to be off and away. Christian Kershaw back to Pettit, who turns it over. It opens up for Sean Pratt. He has the pace as well. But Reece Pettit, the Valentine skipper, did expertly well.
Yeah, full credit to Reece. He did extremely well then.
He made the mistake and made up for it almost immediately.
Yeah, if Sean Pratt had his time again, you'd probably run across the defender because it would have been a lot difficult for Pettit to actually...
And he's struggling here, Sean Pratt. Just over half an hour in.
Yeah, he's sucking in the big ones, isn't he?
It is a warm afternoon and evening here in the Hunter. Temperatures up around 28 degrees at 6:30 at night, so it is a warm one.
Some other big results today, Bart, in the earlier games.
Yeah, huge results. As we see Cody Lucas get in on the action here, and it's just all falling apart at the seams here for Olympic. And Darren Sills is just saying, just slow the play down. Slow it down. Just in front of us here, having a little bit of a wry smile. But
and again,
Aaron Kuru with acres of space out there on the far side. Tom Davies has to track across. Kuru decides to take on the shot, and he couldn't keep it down. And now is a good time, Smudge, to talk about those other results. Charlestown made it 3 wins from 3 to start the season, and they will stay at the top of the ladder. 9 points from a possible 9, a 1-0 win over Lake Macquarie, who go 0-3. And in the other match, Maitland, well, they put on a clinic at Cook Square Park to beat Adamstown 9-1. Yes, it was 9-1. Here is Reese Pappas surging through the centre circle, and he's allowed to run, and still going Reese Pappas. His opposite number, Kershaw, came across. Here's Pettit. Sutherland's there at the back post, but the height is the issue for Jared Sutherland, isn't it, Smudge, when those looping balls are whipped in?
Yeah, he's very tidy on the ball, and he's good in one-on-one situations, and he can bring players into play. However, yeah, obviously height, and probably, he's probably a great header of the ball, but height is obviously a...
If you can't get above a player in front or behind you, it's going to be an issue. Doesn't matter how good a header of the ball you are. Here's McGuinness. Has crossed the line. He's frustrated, McGuinness.
I think both are, coach and son. I think people like to see the ball movement a lot quicker, especially, and probably get the ball played forward a bit more. They're sort of just playing nice and safe around the back. Like he said before to his players, don't play safe.
Here's Kyle Hodges back to Reese Pappas. So less than a quarter of an hour to go in this opening half at Darling Street Oval. And based on the form guide, you're probably a little bit shocked with this scoreline. And the tail of the tape is Olympic dominated the opening 10. Valentine scored with their opening chance and then scored again. Joel Wood scored both. And since then, Olympic have looked rattled, Smudge.
Yeah, just then, the rotation in the midfield of Cooper, Jake McGuinness is good, a lot better, but the movement of the ball's too slow. They need the movement a lot quicker because Valentine's is camping just in front of their 18-yard box. It's really compact, making it very difficult, and that's a great run by Jared Sutherland.
Great run by Sutherland, and just lost his footing a touch in the corner. McGuinness curls it in. Burtos was able to hold it up, but Reese Pettit just thumps his boot through it. And Pappas going to have to start it from the back again. Burtos's ball will loop wide, and it should beat Tom Davies, and does over the byline.
I think Hamilton, with Valentine sitting so deep and having 11 players behind the ball, ready to transition quick when they get the ball, I think Hamilton's ball movement needs to be quicker, more rotation in midfield. Even Sean Pratt is staying up high as a number 9. Need him dropping back into the midfield, push someone else up there, just rotate it around a little bit, get a bit of movement out of the Valentine back four, open up some space.
Kuru turns Davies around. He is all over Tom Davies at the moment. Aaron Kuru. He's having some real headaches over on that far side. The speedster. Now Scott Carter. Missed a large chunk of last season, the Valentine keeper with injury. Here's Pettit. And wide to Burtos. Hodges spies Cody Lucas wide. Frustration here from the Olympic fans. You just heard the car honk, Smudge. I feel that's an Olympic fan frustrated with the amount of ball that is spending at the boot of Kyle Hodges.
Yeah, we talk about safe possession and effective and efficient possession in the attacking third.
He's and Hamilton's over Willard. I thought Joel would just clutch at a hamstring there. He's all right.
Yeah, I think the ball just went behind him actually. So
I thought,
yeah,
don't need another injury. The Phoenix. Zach Sten, as I mentioned, out with a hamstring injury, and Chris Brown out with a knee problem. It's McGuinness. Skinny against the touchline. Joel Wood, all of a sudden, it almost looked for a moment there it would hold up for him.
I've been impressed with this Kershaw, the American in the middle of the park for Valentine. He just sits there, only goes side to side, 10-15 yards, just sits and blocks that channel through to the Pratt. He's doing a great job in there. At the moment, like he's marking space at the moment, that he's blocking that channel through the Pratt.
And to be honest, Smudge, Christian Kershaw, he's gone about his work so quietly, so efficiently that he's barely been noticed.
Yeah, he's doing a fabulous job. And when he gets the ball, it's just two touch, just plays it simple. And he's quite a fierce competitor as well. He gets stuck in.
Here he is. Oh, and there's Kershaw, and there's that frustration from Jake McGuinness coming out again, and they're going to come together here. Kershaw and McGuinness gave him a massive shove. Here's Cody Lucas. Things are not...
He just had too many touches, Jared. Great little player, but just sometimes you have to know when to have that extra touch or when to release the ball a bit earlier.
Do you feel Hamilton just need to get into the sheds here, Smudge?
Yeah, I think so. I think people want to get hold of him in the sheds. He needs the ball played a lot quicker. He needs more variety in the attack. And also he needs the boys to recognise when Valentine are transitioning that they need to drop in and their back four need to be playing nice and tight. They're too spread and that's what's caused troubles.
It's a good ball from Tom Davies to Cooper and Riley Russell. Speedy got back there. Sean Pratt. Neat turn away. As Kyle Hodges rose up above Wood and Bertos.
I'd also like to see an Olympic change it up a little, maybe do a real quick transition, try and get in behind Valentine nice and quick, because what's happening, they're doing the build-up and Valentine's dropping back nice and deep and are looking quite comfortable in defence.
I know Pete McGuinness won't change his philosophy, but would you feel, you know, as this one chipped over the top, 9 Kurui's offside. I'm just thinking, Smudge, does Pete McGuinness go, well, why don't we give Valentine possession for a period, invite them onto us, and then we try and break? So they've got speed in the front third, but you just feel like he's not going to change that philosophy so rapidly.
No, I don't think he will. Like, you know, people stick to his philosophy. But again, Hamilton playing a high back four. If 9 Kuru was onside, they're in again one-on-one. Need to be very careful, and their back four is so spread for me. They need to be a lot tighter. And they're flat. Just need to be on a bit of an angle.
Here's Bertos. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on Smudge, but really at the moment, it looks like there's no way through for Olympic.
This is where they need players to actually go one-on-one with players and try and...
It's Cody Lucas, Pettit.
Trying to create that 2v1.
They're huffing and puffing before the break, Olympic. But the chances are just not coming. Pappas with 3 and 4. 2 and 3 Phoenix players attached to him. McGuinness across the face. Sutherland will keep it in. It was better from Olympic.
Yeah, a lot better. I'd also like to see, like I said before, I'd like to see Pratt, he's playing high, come out. Like when they're like that, probably drop 15
And here is a ball from Aidan Gardner. He has picked out 9 Kuru, who has got speed to burn. Here's 9 Kuru. And he just put a little boot into him, Tom Davies. And this is going to be interesting. It's a very, very promising position for the Phoenix. And Aaron 9 Kuru, very good from the dead ball situation.
And again, that transition, Hamilton need to be very careful. Valentine are doing it extremely well.
Tyler Warren in the Olympic goal is going to have his work cut out for him. Here is 9 Kuru. Well, there you go. There's a commentator's curse if you ever heard one, Smudge. That is a free kick. It will go down as 9 Kuru, well, one of his worst, I would say.
And I think his parents are behind us, actually. They weren't happy with that shot.
Here's Cody Lucas threading it through Sutherland. Maybe just a bright opening here for Olympic. Look at his silky footwork from Sutherland. In the end, the ball just got away from him. And now Joel Wood breaking down the other end of the ground. He's got the speed of 9 Kuru and Willard. And he cuts it across the face. It skews off Tom Davies' boot. But gee, they've got some pace in that front third.
And again, that was 3-on-3. Valentine versus Olympic on Valentine's attack. That was 3v3. Yeah, Jared Sullivan, very unlucky. Silky skills. He just needs that half yard and have a shot. He probably had that extra touch again, which allowed Valentine defenders to set.
Shozu was interesting. Did the job. The sun sets on a glorious autumn day in the Hunter region. Temperatures up around the 30-degree mark. And it is half-time at Darling Street. And the home side, Hamilton Olympic, they have got a ton of work to do if they are to get a result in this one in the second half. They dominated early, but Valentine, they soaked up the pressure and they stung. And they stung hard, and it's 2-0. 2 goals from Joel Wood in those opening 20 minutes. Half-time here at Darling Street Oval. Hamilton Olympic 0, Valentine Phoenix 2. Damien Smith, what is the key? Is there a key for Hamilton in this second half?
Yeah, I'll just go back to Darren Sills firstly. I think his setup is superb. They're playing nice and deep, nice and compact, and their transitional play is catching Hamilton out a few times. Well, it's caused 2 goals, and they could have scored a few more, and it's causing all sorts of trouble for them. And they're very well structured, and they're not going out of their structure, which is causing a lot of issues for Hamilton. For Hamilton, they need better rotation in midfield. They're too safe at the back with their build-up. They need to try and be a bit more efficient with the ball, try and create a few 1v2s, and get some plays driving at plays in the box.
If play continues as it is currently, can you see Valentine being broken down? Because I can't. Olympic they really need a rocket up them at half-time.
I can. I think it's going to be very hard to withstand all this pressure, especially on the 18-yard box. I don't know. I think Pete will make a few changes. I'd like to see Reece Cooper play a little bit more forward. I'd like to see Simon Mooney come on, get out nice and wide, show a bit of pace, get burned past their players, and probably just change a few things up a little bit.
I feel like Simon Mooney is going to come onto the park. He was just called in. He was having a warm-up. He's gone straight into the shed, Smudge. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. I should say Olympic, they're every chance of getting back into this one. We're going to keep people watching. We can't say it's all over at half-time. Yeah, so Valentine with a 2-0 lead. We'll be back in about 5-10 for the second half.
Customer service and achieving results that
Oh, yeah. They made the semis, didn't they? The FA Cup last year. Yeah. Who did they lose to? Sydney? Yeah, I think it was. Good to go, Will. Welcome back to Darling Straight Over. The second half just about to get underway. Hamilton Olympic, the home side, from left to right of screen in their blue home kits, and they are down by 2-0. They've got a lot of work to do in their second half. Damien Smith with me in commentary. And Smudge, while we are watching the start of this second half, we're also keeping an eye on this FFA Cup match down in Melbourne. South Melbourne, who made the semi-finals last year, are about to get knocked out by Hume City. So if you are not watching it, just have a quick scan of that. I know I don't want to make people go and leave this match.
What are you saying, Bart? They'll get away from us.
Come back. It's got about 2 minutes to go. We've got it on here. It's an incredible match down there in Melbourne. Here is Scott Pettit curling it in. As Olympic look for a reply. And Jake McGuinness on the turn, whipping it in. The block was from Josh Murray. Actually scored in his last match here at Darling Street in Valentine's 2-1 defeat in 2017. Here is Pettit. It will cross the line.
So, but obviously Pete McGuinness has been frustrated with that first half. He's made a change. Simon Mooney is on. I think he's on for Sean Pratt, I think, at the moment. And it looks like he's gone to a back three. I'm just having a quick look now. Looks like he's moved Pappas into the middle of the park with his son Jake McGuinness. So it looks like he's playing a 3. It's hard to tell. Maybe a 3-5-2, I'm just unsure. Or maybe a 3-4-3.
He's definitely gone to 3 at the back as Kyle Hodges.
I think you need to change it up, Pete. The other thing is, I know he's very keen on his philosophy. I'd like to see him switch play a little bit, play a few more long diagonal balls, just try and break it up a bit. But
so they break down the left edge. Sutherland across the face. Pettit with the clearance into the leg of Simon Mooney. And there you go. So South Melbourne out of the FFA Cup after they beat Edgeworth last year, got to the semis. They are gone. See you later. South Melbourne on their way out as Hamilton Olympic turn it over again. They really need to turn the corner in their second half.
And they're showing intent straight away. They're on the front foot, which is really good. The speed of the ball is a little bit, I know it's only been going a minute, but the speed of the play has been a lot better.
Pappas curls it wide now to Leo Bertos. Threads that through to McGuinness. I'm not quite sure how it got all the way through, and then Riley, Russell and Carter, they get away with it in the end, but that was a little bit nerve-wracking. And Hamilton starting this second half as they started the first. The difference here is they want to make sure that they make their chances count. There's Leo Bertos. This one curled in towards Simon Mooney. Now Davies. Simon Mooney scored that crucial goal in his last match for Hamilton Olympic in that finals match against Broadmeadow Magic back in 2016. The turn from Pettit. He strikes it straight to Carter. Can score some big goals, Simon Mooney. And Hamilton will be looking for him to do that this afternoon. It's Josh Murray.
And the other move, it looks like they've moved Reece Cooper further forward, which is great. I like to see him more in an advanced position rather than playing a 6 and 8 because he's a great attacking player.
Matt Paul now. Wide to Wood. Spies Willard in the middle, deflecting towards the back post. It falls for Willard. Somehow it's been blocked by Davies. There's all a bit of a comedy of errors there, Smudge.
Hamilton very lucky to get away with it. I think if Valentine do score the 3 goals, I think it's going to be very hard for them to come back.
Wood again, holding it up, looking for a hat-trick. Joel Wood, what a return that would be.
Yeah, he's been very good, hasn't he? He's been a menace to the Hamilton defence all day. Here we go.
And now the break for Hamilton Olympic. Reece Cooper. He's got the pace. turned over, and Pete McGuinness smashes the dugout with his fist. Scott Pettit, infield. Here's a shot from Pappas. And now Pappas curling it in. Mooney swerving wide and will beat them all over the byline. Smudge, I just want to ask you about when you're on the sideline as a coach and you show a lot of frustration, can that have a negative impact on your players?
I think Ernie Merrick does it perfectly, doesn't he? He's very calm, even if they're on top or they're behind. He's very calm. I had an old mate, my assistant used to show, Robert Virgili used to show a lot of frustration in him on the bench, and I enjoyed watching him at times. I remember once Ryan Gallagher, who's a work colleague of mine, sent him off at the sideline. So
yes, I remember that one well in the NPL semis a couple of years ago. Virgili made to walk down the tunnel that particular afternoon. But that's the thing, it can inspire your players, but it can also cause them to be a bit more frustrated. Here's Mooney again with a half chance.
Yeah, I think it's very important you don't coach from the sideline, because sometimes that distracts the players.
Here's it's turned over again by Valentine. It's just been a poor period for them. Whipped in. Riley Russell saves the day for Valentine momentarily, and Joel Wood probably unlucky there. Give away the foul.
And again, Valentine just set up nice and deep. Their 2 6s just sitting in front of their 4, and their 4 at the back are so tight. They're leaving the wide guys with space, and once the ball gets to them, then they press out. Where Hamilton, the 2 wide fullbacks, were staying wide, causing holes through the centre.
Here is Sutherland. Turns away from Shozu. Should win the foul and does. So I just want to ask you about Sean Pratt. Over the last couple of seasons, he's played in that front third, and he's only scored once in his 11 matches for Hamilton Olympic. He's promised so much, but just hasn't quite delivered. What is it? What's a tip that you'd give Sean Pratt after watching him over the last season and a bit?
Yeah, last few years. I think the thing with Sean, sometimes he has to know when to give the ball away, when to keep the ball. Oh, very lucky. Yeah, sometimes he has that extra touch, or he'll try and nutmeg in the centre of the box when he should be having a shot. So he's only young, so he's, the more games he plays, the more experience he gets, and the better he'll adapt to the game and to players around him. So I think that's been his first start.
He's got plenty of skill, we know that, Sean Pratt. Saw that last year. He hit the post in one game about 4-5 times against Lambton. It was incredible.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of potential, but yeah, just needs to work on his game.
Kyle Hodges. Now Cody Lucas. He hasn't scored for a couple of years.
That's better play.
Mooney. Touch wide for McGuinness. It's better speed, isn't it, from Hamilton Olympic? With their passing and movement, McGuinness gets brought down on the edge of the box, and Riley Russell.
And the other thing is, Bart, with this 3 at the back, it's changing the way they're playing. There's not much possession base. They're getting the ball forward a lot quicker, through the channels, playing the 1-2s. But this here, they're playing a high line again. If you get Joel to get off his marker, he's away again.
Here's Cooper, threading it wide. Scott Pettit strikes it straight at Carter. He had Riley Russell coming across at him. Reese Pettit was in the middle. It will be a corner for Olympic. Jared Sutherland was making the short corner run. This one curled in pretty rapidly. Turn from Burtos. Is there a handball from Wood? Well, there may well have been, but Pedican deciding it was accidental.
And Valentine again, they're getting 11 plays behind the ball. They've had numbers behind the ball the whole game. They're really frustrating Hamilton, but Hamilton need to do something. Change it up a little bit. Play a few more longer balls. Get some more forward runners.
Pettit again, a focal point down the right across the face. Well, how has that not gone in? 2 and 3 players, and now Burtos will take a touch that's a little too heavy. Gee whiz. They were lining up, Smudge.
That was a great ball by Scotty Pettit, but it was better because he got the ball, he had a touch and he whipped it in straight away, where in the first half they're having the 2-3 touches and lobbing the ball in. That was beautifully curled in and very unlucky not to score. A lot better second half from Hamilton.
They just need that goal, just to give them a bit more confidence. And this man can provide it. Reese Cooper away down the left. And the polish has gone from his boot as well. Now Pettit along the turf. This one slices off the side of Matt Paul's left boot. Simon Mooney slips over. It's been a good day for Hamilton Olympic so far. 3-0 win in the 18s, 4-0 in the 20s. At first grade, it's not gone to script on Good Friday.
I definitely think there's a few more goals in this game, Bart. I don't know which side's going to score, but it's a lot better start for Hamilton in the second half. And they're mixing their play up a little bit, which is really good.
Aaron Nine-Kuru again gets on goal side of Tom Davies, who is filthy. Thought he was fouled back near halfway. They do win the free kick eventually, Hamilton.
And playing three at the back, sort of Hodges plays like a libero role, so they got that extra man. Where in the first half there was 2v2, 3v3 in the back line,
McGuinness.
and they were getting caught all the time.
It's a good sleight of touch there from McGuinness, and now a poor ball back to Lucas. They just lose the initiative for a moment. Olympic. Bertos.
That's better. A long diagonal pass. That's what they need. They need to mix it up rather than just having that short possession-based football. Great ball.
Pettit threads it through. It was just weighted a little too heavy. Carter has been collected here on his ankle, and he is going to go into the book for a yellow card. Simon Mooney was one of those 50-50 challenges. Do you go in or do you leave it? And he was just a little too heavy in the end. And Simon Mooney, it's one of those tough ones, isn't it, Smudge?
The ball was there for Simon to attack, so they're old teammates, so they're good friends, so there'll be no hard feelings. But that's another thing what's changed for Hamilton. There was no then forward runs beyond the back four in the first half. Simon Mooney's already made that run, great diagonal pass, and that's the first time they've really split Valentine's defence.
Goalkeeper is the number 7. Who did that? Watch him. Hey.
So Carter spies Nine-Kuru, who had no one on him, and Tom Davies, he had to win that ball. Pettit looks to be playing a little more centrally for the moment.
Yeah, well, they're rotating, aren't they, Bart, which is a lot better. There's movement within the players.
And now Bertos wins the free kick. Valentine just giving away a few fouls. This one rolled across to McGuinness. Takes it down to the byline. Cuts it back towards Mooney. And Valentine again.
This is where you need one of the Hamilton players to actually try and take a player on around the box. Just vary it up a little bit.
Well, that's a great ball to McGuinness, who curls it in. But it's not getting inside that 6-yard box. Murray was there.
And the speed of the play is a lot better, isn't it, Bart? Compared to the first half, the build-up was slow.
They take it short. Very quick to play the ball in. Bertos and Joel Wood may fall here.
Go!
Did fall for the moment for Pappas, and now breaking free is Shinji Shozu, riding challenges. Well, surely you've got a play advantage there. Darren Sills' hat and sunnies on the pitch.
It looked like he just claved his shoulder while he threw his hat down to the ground.
Here's Kyle Hodges. Just made a mistake, Peterkin. I think he thought Shozu was losing his balance.
And I don't think he's seen Joel Wood on the far side.
Here's Simon Mooney down the right flank. Well, this would add insult to injury if Olympic scored here. Sutherland and Scott Carter. Not down well. He's having a little chat to Leo Bertos now, Smudge.
Yeah, better transition from Olympic. It was nice and quick, where before the build-up was too slow in the first half. So not allowing Valentine defenders to settle.
It's Joel Wood, infield. Gardner may sit for Nine-Kuru. Back to Wood on a hat-trick. He's trying to place it, Smudge, instead of striking at it.
And again, that was 4v4, Valentine and Olympic defenders.
Great tackle from Murray. He's played it straight to his opposite number, McGuinness. Just reefs the pass across the ground and well cut out by Shinji Shozo. Just totally diffused the situation there, and that was a tricky header to guide it back to Carter.
But I like the way Olympics changing it up a little bit. They're doing a few more diagonal passes. The speed of the ball's a lot quicker.
Here's Pettit. McGuinness, is this the moment for them again? Valentine's defence strong, and Josh Murray, he's been superb at centre-back this evening.
He sure has. Actually, the whole defensive unit from Valentine, from Joel Wood all the way back, the 11 players have been great.
This one across the face, the header, it bobbles around in the box. Gardner gets it clear.
Yeah, I like how Pete's gone away from his philosophy of possession-based football. Even though they're keeping possession, they're actually changing it up a little bit. They're getting the ball played forward a lot more quicker. There's a lot better movement off the ball.
Scott Pettit just unable to keep that one inside the line, and now Davies and 9 Kuru. Here's Joel Wood with the flick on the left. Luke Willard just knocked that ball wide to Gardner. He was away and he had plenty of acreage to do some damage, but it's back with Olympic and Leo Bertos, who gets swung off the ball like he was on a merry-go-round there, Smudge, and fair enough that Olympic win the free kick. And this is just a moment in the match where they really need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, he's at a good spot. It's about 10 yards outside the 18-yard box. Just on Kershaw there, Christian Kershaw, the American guy, he did very well. It was a bit of a professional foul on Burdos, but he's just been that quiet achiever in that number 6 role for Valentine.
So here it is, Reese Pappas. And Pappas picks out the top corner with a pinpoint perfect free kick. And they halve the deficit, Hamilton Olympic, and that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, what a brilliant strike. And that was perfect distance, 10 yards outside the 18-yard box and sort of slightly going downhill at Olympics ground. Perfect strike, top corner. Carter had no chance. Game on now, Bart.
Well, Smudge, you got to take those chances, and they did exactly that, Hamilton Olympic. He couldn't have struck that any better.
Yeah, beautifully struck. Perfect height, good pace. Carter, no chance.
And now the positivity for Hamilton Olympic. Scott Pettit.
Pete McGuinness getting very frustrated there. They wanted the ball released a lot quicker.
Sutherland had to go through legs. Valentine last match here at Darling Street, the last time they played Olympic. They led by a goal to nil and they'll run down 2-1 late. The match before that, earlier in the season, in round 9, Valentine also led that one 1-0. They'll run down late. Will it happen again?
See, that's better. Just changing up. A few long passes, a few diagonal long passes. I like that. It makes the Valentine midfielders and fullbacks move, which can create space.
Pappas up the line. Mooney gets away from Russell. Chips it back for Bertos. Just overhit a touch. Too deep. Cody Lucas. Reese Cooper now back to Tom Davies.
They need width here. Olympic, they're a bit tight. There's no one out wide on the right.
Cooper now strikes at it. May deflect up nicely for Mooney. Cooper almost on the volley. And now it's Pettit. Curling it in. Carter with the punch. Oh, that bright orange glove through the ball. Now Hodges.
Great ball.
Drilled the pass, did Cody Lucas. And now here's Sutherland. Another chance for Jared Sutherland, and took a deflection, and it will be a corner.
But what Olympic are doing now, they're getting forward runners beyond that back four. We spoke about with Mooney before when he failed the keeper. There, Jared Sutherland made that forward run beyond the back four. Better speed of play, and yeah, I think Olympic's starting to slowly open Valentine up.
Here's the corner curled in. Valentine. They'll be able to bring it from inside their own defensive third. Joel Wood. Back he goes, and Murray clears it up over halfway.
This is where Olympic need a bit of width. Playing a 3-4-3, they need a little bit width on the left and the right. A bit just narrow then.
That one's gone up and over the light pole. Huge clearance from Valentine.
Olympics like a different side in the second half, aren't they, Bart? Their formation's different, but the speed of play,
just the energy as well. Yeah, and I feel like the setting sun, and the reducing temperature has helped them as well in this high intensity play in the second half.
But they've varied the play up a little bit instead of being just purely short.
Here's a strike from distance, took a deflection.
Yeah, instead
for Cooper.
Sorry.
And now Pettit decides against going down to the byline, and now on his left boot, spot Sutherland, and just got caught on Gardner's boot, and he flung it away to Willard. Willard just couldn't keep it inside the far touchline.
Yeah, sorry, just on Hamilton, instead of just playing their short possession-based football, normally safe possession, they've varied it up. Some great diagonal passes at the moment.
There's Pettit in again. Mooney goes down, falls for Sutherland, tries to place it across goal. Cooper there as well. Valentine are living dangerously. Very dangerously at the moment. Darren Sills is looking to the bench, and Wilson Edwards, a defensive change. Here's Mooney trying to flick the header on. Just couldn't guide it inside the far post, but you feel, Smudge, it is only a matter of time until the river runs dry for Hamilton Olympic and they equalise.
But Hamilton still need to be careful. But what the three at the back's doing is making them have three at the back. When they're playing four at the back, their two wide fullbacks were pushing forward and they're getting caught two at the back and sometimes one at the back. And in transition, they're really struggling with Valentine. So playing three at the backs, allowing them to actually...
Here's Mooney again, outside of his boot. Now Gardner.
And they're playing a lot more forward balls, where in the first half it was just sideways and backwards.
Now my attempted lyrics there from that song, Smudge, I think I stuffed them up until the river is no longer dry for Hamilton, and it will be raining goals, literally, the way they're playing at the moment. Here's Bertos. That's why I'm not going to work as a singer anytime soon. Here is Bertos now looking for Sutherland.
You wouldn't believe it, but I was doing a bit of karaoke this morning at a Easter hunt party, believe it or not. But
gee, that would have been a sight as this one.
I sound okay. Looped
in, Sutherland on the turn. Here's McGuinness. And now Bertos back with Olympic. And McGuinness has put it in, and Peterkin has blown it up for the free kick to be taken. He hasn't played advantage, and Jake McGuinness has picked out the top corner with one of the great strikes.
What's... Oh, he's bleeding.
And there's a bit of frustration here. So Reece Pettit is... Well, there's a bit of drama. It's going on everywhere. So Reece Pettit has got blood coming out of his right eye. It's everywhere at the moment. He can't actually open his right eye. He's saying just to Darren Sills on the bench. Jake McGuinness has picked out the top corner. Should have Peterkin played advantage.
I think when there's a foul, you should allow about 2 or 3 seconds to play. I think, depending on what's going to happen. But in saying that, I think Peterkin just knew there was a foul. He blew it straight away. But I think for referees, I'd allow 2 or 3 seconds once there's a foul, because you can always come straight back to it. And what a strike by Jake McGuinness.
So not great for Valentine that their centre-back is only able to see out of one eye at the moment. Good news for Hamilton is they do have another free kick, and Pappas just couldn't keep it down. It was a little too close to goal, wasn't it, in comparison to that last free kick where he picked out the top corner.
Yeah, definitely too close. When they're close, I think you just have to drill it straight as you can. Very hard to get up and over the wall.
It's much. You just sense that the way Olympic are playing at the moment, there's an equaliser coming.
We've got the referee's boss just in front of us, Rod Allen. Obviously, he's analysing the game.
It's McGuinness. Sutherland tries to thread it through for Mooney, who is just offside.
But again,
well, sorry, Smudge. I was just going to ask you, what have Valentine now got to do? They have to respond all of a sudden. They were so comfortable for the opening half, the back end of the opening half. Now all of a sudden, they are in all sorts of trouble.
So their game plan is obviously to sit and break on transition. In the first half, they were doing that well, but when Olympic had the ball, they put pressure on the ball, and there was turnover, and then they could transition quick. This second half, they're not getting enough pressure on the ball, which is allowing Olympic more time, more space.
And they're really fatiguing, aren't they?
Yeah. But also Olympics changed their play. Like they're moving the ball a lot quicker, playing a lot more diagonals, a lot better, which is moving the defence around, causing more holes.
Here's Cooper. Up the line for Sutherland again. It's Olympic with all the running here in the second half. And Carter sends Gardner on a chase wide. Olympic with the ball back again. They spot Carter off his line. Scott Carter gets back and aims it nicely. It was Reese Pappas again. Cody Lucas. And it's been very rare for possession to be down even just inside Olympics half in this second stanza. It's been all inside Valentine's half of the ground. In the second half, here is Riley Russell turning, 9 Kuru. And they win a relieving free kick, Valentine.
And I think the other thing that's changed for Hamilton, obviously, Pete McGuinness has put a rocket up in a half time, and they're putting a lot more pressure on the ball on Valentine, where Valentine had time on the ball in the first half and they could transition quick.
So Reese Pettit heads back out onto the park, so Valentine's period with 10 men is over for the moment. It's all bandaged up. Wilson Edwards is going to come on now, it seems. So they are fatiguing. They need some reinforcements, the Phoenix. 9 Kuru curls it in, but there's no one there.
You see straight away Valentine's plays, they retreat, they know exactly their defensive structure.
There's Davies and Mooney. Tries for handball. He gets tugged back by Pettit. It falls for Cooper. And the free kick and the yellow card. The yellow card goes to Reese Pettit for the tug on the shirt of Simon Mooney. And Mooney, well, I thought Mooney had handled the ball beforehand, before Pettit gave away the free kick. But what Pettit did... Beforehand, yeah. Good pun, Smudge. But if there was no handball, I thought it was fair that Pettit goes into the book for the yellow card. He had a fair fist of Mooney's shirt, but I felt it should have gone Valentine's way first.
Yeah, and agree. And for the foul that Pettit made, he actually allowed play to go a little bit before he brought it back, which was good, but in saying that, Mooney handballed it first, so Hamilton lucky to get the free kick.
So Scott Pettit on this particular free kick, and he struck it straight into the one-man wall. What are the chances of that? Tom Davies takes his time to survey the options and will fall back for McGuinness to dink it in. And it's all hands to the pump for Valentine again. 11 back inside the box it will be. Maybe not quite 11. 9 Kuru's had to run wide for the short corner. And an offside just against the byline.
And it's good to see Hamilton get the ball into the box nice and quick. First half, they'll just keep in possession. They weren't really penetrating the ball into the box. So they've really changed it up in the second half, and they've looked really good.
So Wilson Edwards is about to come on to the ground. And it will be Matt Paul who leaves Darling Street Oval. He's done a mountain of work, Matt Paul, defensively for much of this second half. It's been a tough second half.
Yeah, he put a great shift in Matt Paul, especially his first game back for the season. It's great to see him back in the NPL as well, and great for Valentine to have him on board.
The substitution for Valentine. Off is number 23, Matt Paul. On is number 17, Wilson Edwards.
Another important free kick going the Phoenix's way.
The intensity of the game's just starting to heat up. Players are starting to get a little bit more verbal, especially leading into the last 15 or so minutes.
That free kick just a little too deep as we near the final quarter hour of the match.
There's some more big games on the weekend, isn't there, Bart? 2 more games to come.
Yeah, a couple of big ones tomorrow. Lambton taking on Western, and then the match of the round is on Sunday. Broadmeadow Magic hosting Edgeworth Eagles. Looking forward to that one, Smudge.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Pettit just blasts that one onto the roof.
They've built up a big rivalry, Magic and Edgeworth, over the years. They're always intense battles.
Yeah, we saw that in that semi-final series last year. As is this one. These two sides played out some really tight contests. 2 of the last 3 have been draws. And in their last 2, Olympic have come from behind to steal a point in one and 3 in the other. And they're looking to do likewise here tonight. But they're going to have to wait. I feel a lot will be spoken regarding that Jake McGuinness top corner strike if Olympic don't get the result here tonight, Smudge.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but it was a foul. But yeah, sometimes I think referees, if they allow 1 or 2 seconds after the foul, just to see what happens, you never know. So
if you have just joined us, Olympic started the match superbly, but Valentine struck twice on the break to lead 2-0 at half-time. And they were seemingly all over Olympic until half-time, and then in the second half it's been all Olympic. Reese Pappas equalised, and Valentine with a chance here to increase the lead. Again, Aiden Gardner now with the strike. Blazes it over.
Even though Hamilton's got the lion's share of possession and playing really well and really starting to penetrate Valentine, they need to be careful in defence. If Valentine do score, I think it'd be very hard to come back. And
they really need to be careful on the break as well, Smudge, because that's where Valentine hurt them in the first half. When they're pushing high late in the game, that's where it's going to hurt them. A controversial moment came when Jake McGuinness put it in the top corner after the free kick was blown going Hamilton's way. If advantage had have been played, it would have been 2-2. But it's not. And Jake McGuinness trying to just nick the ball around Riley Russell. Tom Davies curls it infield for Pettit. Still looking for his first goal in Olympic colours, Scott Pettit. All 4 for Pappas, and then Davies back to Kyle Hodges. Leo Bertos. He's been solid down the left flank. Shown some silky skills, as he always does. Cooper. Smots McGuinness down the right, who turns nicely away from Kershaw, who keeps with him the American import.
He's been good, Kershaw, hasn't he?
He's the silent achiever.
Yeah.
There's McGuinness. Now for Bertos. Look to have run out of options. Now he curls it in. Rising high is Pettit, just over his head, and McGuinness couldn't slide it back across the face of goal. And Valentine again breathed a sigh of relief, and Hamilton will make their second change. And Jared Sutherland, he's been impressive tonight, hasn't he, Smudge? The youngster.
Very impressive. He's got nice silky skills, great balance on the ball. Sometimes he probably takes that extra touch when he probably could either have a shot or lay it off. But yeah, he's a great little player. I'd like to see more of him this year, and he's just going to develop as the year goes out.
And Luke Valone comes onto the park. 4 matches previously for Hamilton Olympic, this being his 5th. Joel Wood That was a huge win in the air, and now it's Gardner flowing forward and threading it wide. Nine Kuru was there, but as was Reese Pappas, and Tyler Warren just smacks it up the ground towards Cooper. Will be a Phoenix throw though.
Yeah, Aiden Gardner just needed to slide a little bit harder than Nine Kuru. He was on one-on-one with Tyler Warren. Just needed a little bit firmer.
So Tyler Warren just looped it into the midfield. And now Wilson Edwards. And Joel Wood sees Aiden Gardner. He was off balance and he skews the pass. Davies with a header away, back for Kershaw. Neat ball, neat touches here from the Phoenix. And Luke Willard, he just didn't spot Nine Kuru, who had no one on him. And the Phoenix bench, their hands go to their heads because they knew Nine Kuru was on down the left flank.
That's been twice.
But the game is a whole lot easier from up here, Smudge.
It sure is, yeah. I think Darren Steele's a little bit frustrated on the sideline. He's actually telling his players to push on, put pressure on the ball, which is a lot better.
It's a long throw into the box. Ooh. And now Willard across the face. Is that the winner? It isn't. It would have been. And it would have been the hat-trick for Joel Wood. He cannot believe it.
And Nine Kuru was vacant on the back stick again.
A gilt-edged chance for the Phoenix. It's wasted again. Captain Courageous, Reese Pettit with the headband. And again, the Phoenix, they're having a good run of possession here. Joel Wood, he leaves it. No, he doesn't. He lets it roll across the face, and Nine Kuru just couldn't catch up with it in the end. He was deciding whether to let it run to Gardner. He took it himself, Joel Wood. And now Cooper. I thought he'd about to turn it over. He hasn't. He beats Willard with ease, and, well, he's beaten Willard, who's left a bit in it, and wins the free kick to Cooper. They're going to have to move it quickly here, Hamilton.
Just going back on that play, that was Keshwan again. He's the one who set up play, put the ball through to Joel Wood. He's been superb for me.
We've got to pick him out of the match as well, Smudge. He'd be right up there. Christian Kershaw.
Definitely.
So Riley Russell. Poor throw because it's straight to Reese Pappas, and now the back heel from Bertos is over here on the right.
Great back heel by Kershaw.
And now Wood just rolls it wide to Aiden Gardner. And Cody Lucas was able to get there first, but Valentine with the throw. Less than 10 minutes to go at Darling Street. Joel Wood's 2 goals, putting Valentine ahead by 2 goals to 0. And Reese Pappas halved the deficit midway through the second half, but it's still Hamilton looking for that equaliser.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to pick man of the match. I think Riley Russell's been superb in this left fullback position. Reese Pettit, Josh Murray been superb at the central defenders as well.
Here's Russell again.
Yeah, he's been superb.
Just the energy he brings. Superb, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
For a player who hasn't played much first team football for the Phoenix, he's raced onto the scene, broke onto the scene in 2016 when he scored a late winner in Valentine's win over Lambton Jaffers that year.
And then you have to look at Joel Wood. He scored 2 goals. He's been very good. He's been a handful for the Hamilton Olympic defenders.
Here's Pettit, Gardner. That's a lovely ball across the face to Nine Kuru, who sees the speed of Willard. He's been kept fairly quiet tonight. And his passes behind Joel Wood. Shozu now. He's been very quiet in the second half. Kershaw. Back to Shozu. Curling in, up they rise, and the header from Kershaw. The small man getting up above the likes of Kyle Hodges, Pappas and Davies. But it was straight to Tyler Warren, and Olympic are afforded the opportunity to break again. It's been an edge of your seats contest, this one. Cooper chipping it in! Corner! Well, cometh the moment. Hamilton's hero is Reese Cooper, yet again. And it's heartbreak for the Phoenix. They concede late against Hamilton Olympic. For the third consecutive match, they concede in the final 5 minutes. And that has to hurt.
You can't say Olympic didn't deserve the second goal here today. In the second half, they've been absolutely superb. They've been pushing and pushing and pushing. But what a strike by Reece Cooper. Had one touch, picked out the top left-hand corner, beautiful 9-iron chip, and Carter had no chance. Both goals from Olympic, Carter has had no chance, and they are top, high-quality goals.
Gee, that was a superb strike from Reece Cooper. And Josh Carroll is now on the park. Scored 3 times for Valentine last year. And Luke Willard has left the park. He was kept fairly quiet. He's going to have to give it his all here, Josh Carroll, with the match now on an even keel. It was Valentine's first half. It's been Olympic second. But what a chip from Reece Cooper. Right into the top corner.
They've been good second half, haven't they, Olympic?
And Tom Davies is cramping up here. And he's in a little bit of strife, Tom Davies. I think he's going to leave the park.
Yeah, it's quite a worn night, isn't it?
The number 18, Harrison Crook, who is going to come onto the park.
Change for Hamilton Olympic. On comes number 18, Harrison Crook, in place for number 3, Tom Davies.
Brought onto the bench late. Wasn't originally in the on the bench, but Tom Stewart was a late scratching, so Harrison Crook gets his chance now, a youngster. Here is Murray, up and over the top, looking for Gardner, and now Luke Valone.
Take a break here.
Can Hamilton seal all 3 points here? What a fight back it would be. Scott Pettit touches inside. Cooper curling it towards the back post. Mooney Rose. Free kick to the Phoenix.
Yeah, I thought their transition there was just a little bit too slow. Birdos, you just need that ball out a little bit quicker to Pettit. And you know what, Pettit should have went on the attack at Riley Russell. It was just outside the box. You never know what could happen.
What a cracking contest this has been, Smudge. Under lights at Darling Street. A twilight start on Good Friday. Couldn't have asked for a better match of football. It's a similar story last year, and Broadmeadow played Lambton in similar conditions at Arthur Eden Oval. Another great night of football. It's just the perfect time, isn't it, in these autumn months?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's Crook.
Riley Russell.
Spied Scott Pettit, who now dodges and weaves away from a couple of Valentine defenders and now plays it into McGuinness. Threads it wide. Pettit on the turn and the spin. Still Scott Pettit. He's got Valentine players swarming him, and now a chance for the Phoenix to break forward.
Big chance.
Gardner spots Joel Wood.
Big chance.
And now Wilson Edwards. Well, he had a lot more time, Wilson Edwards, than he thought. And now all of a sudden, it's Olympic's chance to break. Cooper. He equalised for Olympic.
And Riley Russell again. He's been superb, hasn't he?
Superb. Here's Harrison Crook. Curls it in towards the box. Josh Carroll, the nearest Phoenix player to the ball. And now Wilson Edwards. He's strong towards Pappas. No whistle.
Great pressure by Valentine.
Nice control from Russell. And now Wood back to 9, Kuru. Edwards. Spies Gardner, who then has the overlapping run from Kershaw, but he decides to go back against the grain to Joel Wood. Trots down into the corner. Wood curls it in. Kershaw was waiting at the back post. And Aidan Gardner.
End-to-end stuff.
He's got a bit of work to do. Olympic break again. Burtos. Riley Russell putting on the afterburners to keep up with the Kiwi International. Here's Mooney. He's been immense since he's come on. Simon Mooney weaves away. Carter. What a save from Scott Carter. Superman diving to his right. It will be an Olympic corner though.
I like how they drive it into the box. That was what they weren't doing in the first half. A lot better play by Olympic.
This one whipped in. Mooney onto the bar. Onto the apex, I think.
Peter McGuinness pulling his hair out, whatever hair he's got left in there.
And now Valentine. Well, Olympic are just asleep at the wheel here. They haven't dropped back. The numbers retreating now. Gardner thought there was a handball, and it was an important handball to make as well because the ball over the top to Edwards. He was away if it arrived at its destination. Pappas, Edwards, that's a great interception. Now Murray. Gee, there's some bodies on the line at the moment from both sides. It's Valone that time blocking and skewing it over the sideline. Valentine will make another change.
Looks like there's 3 minutes of added time, Bart. We've just got the wave.
So it's Connor Motherway who goes on for Aiden Gardner. Just fatiguing.
Change for Valentine.
Sorry, 4 minutes of added time.
Gardner. On comes number 14, Thomas Motherway.
Yeah, so we're now into added time. Less than 4 minutes to go. Will it be heartbreak for Valentine again? 2 matches in a row against the Phoenix. Well, Carter, I'm not quite sure if he saw that, Smudge.
Oh, that's one of his usual shoulders. He did one in the first half and he did one then. He doesn't mind doing the old shoulder save, the old Scotty Carter.
Jeez, I tell you what, Phoenix fans probably having a heart attack watching that back.
It was going like a bullet.
Stuck the shoulder out. There's the clearance away from Kershaw. Up towards Hodges, who looks as though he will equal Barry Park's record for 121 goalless matches for Olympic. McGuinness is after it. Pettit is there.
Mooney's looked good in the second half, hasn't he, when he came on?
Great tackle from Reese Cooper. Could have been a match-saving tackle. Threads it wide. Pettit. 1-2 and Pettit! Well, that had some serious heat on it from Scott Pettit. He thumped into the apex. That's twice Hamilton have hit the apex in the last 5 minutes. Pete McGuinness can't quite believe what he's watching, and all of a sudden it falls for Valentine. Nine Kuru just couldn't wait to pass. Riley Russell backtracking. This has been an enthralling match of football. End-to-end stuff in the last 10-15 minutes. Both sides going for it. Pettit curls it across again. There will be a corner for Olympic. And it's Leo Bertos charging across to take it. There it is, Bertos curling it in, they rise. And now Cooper! Well, that would have been a stunning way to seal 3 points. He picks out the top corner again, Reece Cooper. And it remains 2-2, Smudge.
Yeah, full credit to Pete McGuinness, changing his shape, changing some personnel, and just changing the way they've played in the second half. And they've really dominated this second half and have been quite impressive, with unlike a lacklustre first half.
And I think what makes it most impressive is the changes that McGuinness has made. He said, all right, it wasn't working for us in the first half. He's changed things, and it has worked. And here is Bertos again.
1-on-1.
Still Bertos curling. His run away from Pettit.
He probably should have went inside.
Was the flick on there from Wood. And up rises Shozu. He got the header to 9 Kuru. And it may be a corner here for Valentine. It will be a late chance for the visitors. Can they snatch back the ascendancy, the Phoenix? This one curled in. Hodges. Powerful header away, but the danger has not gone. Kuru. Another corner for Valentine.
I said about 15-20 minutes ago, Bart.
Here it is, across the base. Warren, it has crossed the byline. But it was very well done by Tyler Warren. Reece Pettit is going to leave that one behind. And Glenn Peterkin is going to say that will do. And it ends an enthralling spectacle here tonight at Darling Street Oval. All the fans got their money's worth this evening. That was a cracking showdown between two sides who put it all on the line.
And you don't see it that often, Bart. There was people standing in the grandstand clapping the performance of both sides.
And that is the third draw in 4 matches between these two sides. Joel Wood with 2 first-half goals back in the NPL in the orange colours of the Valentine Phoenix. They were all over Hamilton and the back end of that first half, and then Olympic clawed their way back through Reece Pettit with a goal from the free kick. Check that out. That was just superb. And then Reece Cooper with an equally as good goal, just chipping one inside the back post to make it 2-2. But it's going to be on as even at Darling Street, full time. It finishes Hamilton Olympic 2, Valentine Phoenix 2. Smudge and players out on their feet after that one. End to end at Darling Street tonight. It really was one of the matches of the season so far.
Oh, definitely. It was a brilliant match. Brilliant to be here because it was a beautiful night of football. It was a game of 2 halves, wasn't it, Bart? I thought Valentine sort of dictated the first half, even though Hamilton were having a lot of possession, but it was just safe possession. It wasn't effective. It wasn't efficient. They weren't getting too many chances, and Valentine just got them on the counter and looked dangerous every time they went forward. But full credit to Sills for his setup and structure and game plan. However, McGuinness got him in at half-time, made a structural change, went to 3 at the back, made personnel change, brought on Mooney, and I thought they were superb in the second half. Scored 2 brilliant goals. Could have had a third with Jake McGuinness, very unlucky. And in the end, a draw was probably a fair result if you look at both halves of football.
And who are you giving your man of the match to?
Mate, I have no idea. There's some great performances. One guy just down in front of us, Joel Wood, was superb. Scored 2 goals. For me, Christian Kirschman, he was a quiet achiever. I mentioned it a few times in the call, but he just went about his business, just got the ball, just played 1-2 touch, won some crucial tackles, had a header towards the end, and Riley Russell at the back was superb. He kept Scotty Pettit relatively quiet. For Hamilton, everyone was quite solid across the park. Jake McGuinness, always on the ball, lost the ball a little bit in the first half. Second half, he was busy. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Gee, it's just so tough to pick, Smudge. You know, it was such a great match of football. Obviously, Reece Cooper always is a standout for Hamilton, and Christian Kershaw for Valentine Phoenix. The equaliser from Cooper, that was superb, wasn't it? It really was. It was a wonderful, wonderful chip inside the far post.
Yeah, but his first half was a little bit quiet as well because he was playing more in that deeper role and he wasn't getting on the ball as much. I'd like to see him in a more advanced position, which McGuinness put him in a more advanced position in the second half, and he looked dangerous. He looked dangerous running at plays, and he scores goals, and his goal was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards Christian Kershaw, to be honest.
Yeah, or him and Joel Wood. Joel Wood first came back, 2 goals, 2 cracking goals, looked dangerous every time he's going forward. It's hard not to give it to Joel Wood, but Kershaw, for me, is a close second.
So you're going to go Wood?
I have no idea.
All right, well, do you want to go grab Joel for us? And
yep.
We'll get run through what's happening for the rest of the weekend after we recover from that contest. So those results from earlier today, Maitland absolutely hammered Adamstown Rosebud by 9 goals to 1. And Lake Macquarie went down 1-0 to Charlestown City Blues at Macquarie Field. Smudge, you've got Joel Wood up here in the commentary box.
Joel, you're our man of the match. Had a superb game. First time back in the local NPL for a few years. It's great to be back.
It is, mate. It is. It is good to be back out there as an old guy against the young guys out there, and they definitely made me run for it. But, yeah, good game, and pretty happy with it, even though we got away with a draw. But, hey, happy days.
Yeah, I thought in the first half, on transition, you transitioned nice and quick, the ball up to you, and you was causing Hamilton all sorts of trouble at the back.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we worked on. We worked on getting the ball on the 6 and just turning quickly and just trying to get it into the wide guys and into me at the 9. So it worked in the first half. Unfortunately, the second half didn't quite go our way, and we sort of defended for about 95% of it, but I guess we can still be happy with that.
Joel, I just want to ask you, what's the difference in speed of the NPL compared to where you were playing up at the North Coast with Byron Bay last year?
The difference is immense. I mean, the standard here is really high, and it's only getting higher every year. The standard up there is probably quite similar to the second division here. There's a few good teams and a few teams that are catching up, but the standard's still quite good and there's some real good players up there. So I think a few players from up there should definitely come down here and get involved because there's some talent for sure.
Christian Kershaw, we're very impressed with him playing in that number 6 role. Your back line were absolutely rock solid, especially Riley Russell in that left fullback position. But Christian Kershaw, tell us more about him. He was absolutely superb. He was a quiet achiever, won a lot of ball in the middle of the park, but also he sort of created a few things as well.
Yeah, Christian's a fantastic lad. American guy. He's come over this year to play with us. Came from the college system and from DC United youth team. Plenty of experience. He's real tight in the ball, as you've seen, and really knocks a good ball. I think at the moment he's still trying to find his fit out there, as you can see. Sometimes still not 100% gelling, but he played good, especially in that first half when we got him on the ball plenty. So if we can get him on the ball and he can get some experience and start gelling with the lads, I think he's going to be a big weapon for us.
Yeah, especially when you get the likes of Chris Brown and Zach Sneddon back. You've got a real good 14, 15 players there.
Yeah, exactly. We're definitely missing a bit of experience now, and with Brownie out, it's pretty much me and the kids out there. So it is a good time out there, and we've got some great young talent, some great young kids coming through. But I think once we get a bit more experience out there to sort of guide the boys around the park, we'll be a lot better off.
And just lastly, when did you slip into town? I didn't even know you were in town until I read the Newcastle Herald 2 weeks ago, and you're a game for Valentine.
Mate, that's normally how I do it. I slip in and slip out. Just drop a smoke bomb and there I go, and then next minute I'm back. So no, I'm super happy to be back and looking forward to the rest of the season and onwards and upwards with the lads. So yeah.
Okay, Joel, you're our man of the match, and congratulations and good luck for the rest of the season, mate. Well done, buddy.
Appreciate it.
You better give him the voucher, yeah. Yeah, what a match we've witnessed here tonight, Smudge, and I think it's going to be interesting chatting to both coaches after this one, just to get their thoughts on that 90 minutes. But wraps it up from us here this evening. Sunday's match, Edgeworth up against Broadmeadow Magic. Gee, it's got a high billing to live up to.
I can't wait for it. I love these games. I coached in many of the games. It's such a fierce rivalry, both on and off the park as well. So I can't wait. I know Damien Zane will have something up his sleeve for Magic, and I know Ruben's been working hard at training for the boys. But I don't know. It's going to be very tight. So I don't know which way to go, but obviously I'm going to have to tip Magic for that one.
Do you think there's going to be a bit of drama again between Ruben and the Edgeworth fans? We saw it last year at Edgeworth in the semi-finals.
No, I don't think so. I think, last year was Ruben's first year of coaching. Obviously, his second year, you learn in your first year, so I don't think so. I think it's going to be a tight contest. Obviously, Magic's going to run the game out because obviously they're a very fit side. But also, the game Edgeworth played against Lambton a few weeks ago. Zane said a few of the players were underdone, like your Dylan Hulls and all that sort of stuff, so it's great for them guys to be back. But they actually got on top of Lambton that last 15-20 minutes as well. So I'm expecting a physical battle. I'm expecting a very structured sort of, sort of a game of chess initially. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Can't wait for it.
Well, that wraps it up tonight here from Darling Street Oval. A superb contest. It finished Hamilton Olympic 2, Valentine Phoenix 2.